Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are Working Class Nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right, we are Working Class Nerds. The podcast gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Sunday, December 29th, 2019, and you can find this OPA podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher. You can also find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I am at Nick Vern, that's NickVern. And this week's episode, we're talking about spoilers, and more spoilers.
Did you hear the news? Spoilers.
From Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. This week, we're keeping it in the fam with our guests. Joining us is my sister and our resident comic book lore and all things nerd expert, Ariel. And for the first time on Working Class Nerds, our father, Norm. So Norm started my interest in video games originally, so without him, this podcast would have never existed. So thank you both for coming on the show. And what have you been up to this week, starting with Ari?
But first, let's just be clear. I'm the reason why you got Xbox Live. Ari, tell us about your week.
That's true.
Is anyone going to interrupt me more before I get going?
Oh, here we go already.
That's the theme on this podcast and every family event.
Back at the ranch. What are you drinking?
I am drinking my new drink of choice, the Cosmo. Dun, 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 dun. Listen, I love Sex and the City. I've been watching it way too young, or since I was way too young. I am definitely the Carrie Bradshaw of my friend group, so it's only fitting that my new drink is the Cosmo. That's what I'm drinking right now. And I also would like to point out that Nick is drinking one too. Da-da-da-da.
Oh, is that what the pink thing? I thought it was a vodka cran.
No.
Oh my God.
Okay. And the lies
That's
are
what
coming
I'm
in.
drinking.
Oh, my God.
Nick's drinking a Cosmo. Yeah, but anyways, I'm currently watching Watchmen. It's taken me a while to watch it. I'm not super into it, but I feel like I need to watch it. It's one of those shows to just kind of get through, and it is good. I mean, it's not my favorite show, but I definitely like it. I guess
It's like good, not great.
yeah, it's fine. I don't know.
Yeah, I get you.
You got to check it off the list. I'm currently watching The Mandalorian. I have not watched the last episode.
Complete and utter blasphemy.
We were going to talk about it tonight.
I know. You robbed all of the listeners of Mandalorian.
Yeah, but like it came
talk.
out days ago. Like, how do you not watch it?
I don't
Because-
get
The
it.
show's like 30 minutes. Well, actually, I think this one was 48.
Yeah, it was almost an hour.
I spent the weekend with Mama Mo, so I don't think...
Let's hear about that. What did you guys do?
Oh, yeah, we went to Lennox, up to Lennox.
Well, why'd you go there?
It's for, can I say talk? We went for a spa weekend.
Whoa.
We went to the Blantier. I don't know. I can't even pronounce it. It's so fancy. It was like a castle.
That's right, Blantier.
Blantier for our spa. And then we stayed at the Cronwell Resort. We went to dinner at the Kemble Inn. And then we went to breakfast the next day at the Haven Cafe. It was so cute. Very New England-y.
The Haven.
The Haven. It's a very hipstery place.
Ugh.
The guy who served us had a man bun.
That's when you know.
That's
Yeah,
when
that's
you know.
when you know.
You can't
just
call
have
it-
to leave.
Yeah.
No, it was delicious. It was good. And then we went shopping and everything afterwards.
Did you get anything good?
I got leggings and a Dr. Seuss sweatshirt.
Lululemon.
No. Do you think I'm rolling in cash right
Dude,
now?
Lululemon pants are like $100.
What?
Yeah.
For leggings?
Yeah.
Oh.
For like the yoga pants. Or
The only
whatever.
reason why I know that is because they just opened up one of those stores and Carrie's like, I want to go there. I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, I got my mom a Lululemon gift card, and I think she can buy half a pair of pants.
Okay.
But yeah, it was fun. Fun weekend. And that's fun. But that's why I'm not caught up for the last episode of The Mandalorian. But I also started watching The Witcher, which I didn't read the books or play the video games. So I was completely blind going into it. Had zero
Oh.
expectations. It has a huge cult following behind it. I'm only on the first episode, but I like it. It's good. It's cheesy, but I also don't have anything good to compare
It's Game
to.
of Thrones.
No.
No,
it's not Game
not
of
at all.
Thrones.
Well, it is.
No.
Come on.
Nope.
Dude.
Because Game of Thrones is very political and medieval, and this is very
Not.
fantasy, like hardcore. But it is really cool. He's kind of like it's pretty much like if an assassin had dark magic. It's pretty dope.
Yeah, but he's not necessarily an assassin. He's a monster hunter, and then just happens to, because he has like superpowers that are designed to kill monsters. He's good at fighting everything, so he gets dragged into political things all the time. But like the whole thing about it is he's not supposed to, and he doesn't want to. But because he's so powerful, he gets dragged into it. So I think the video games are more about like the morality of Witchers are supposed to be pretty apathetic and not ever get involved with human stuff, basically. But he gets put in situations where like he can save people or just let them die or whatever. And, he has to make a moral choice. So in the games, that's where it becomes compelling to make those moral choices and flesh out the character.
Their market share went up 26%.
Whoa.
Because of the show.
I
Because
bet.
people are playing the game again.
Yeah.
It's relevant.
Yeah. The show is really good. I mean, I'm only.
Would it make you play the game?
It's making me want to go back and play it.
Listen, if I was better at video games and had like good vision, so I didn't have to sit like 2 feet from the TV even with my glasses on, I think I would. But I can't see for shit, so I'll just stick to the show. It's good though.
I get you. I'm like on episode like 4, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
I haven't watched any of it.
It's pretty good.
Me either.
But anywho, before I get chatting about a game I haven't played, I've played like 2 hours of. Storm and Norman, what have you been up to this week?
Oh, I had a great week actually. Pretty busy. Obviously work and shit like that. But Christmas was awesome. Christmas was really good. We had a nice time, and today I did some hunting with a new gun that I got. Nice over and under shotgun. Had a couple pheasant. 4 shots, 2 kills with a new gun.
Very nice.
Happy.
Nicely done.
Are you going to eat it?
So no, well, yes. Eventually, it's I donated it to a game dinner that we go to, and we have all kinds of stuff. So yeah, absolutely, it's good stuff.
That's cool.
Was able to use my meat cutting skills quite nicely. We got 6 birds, 3 guys. I cut 3 of them. While the other guys were struggling with the other one. So yeah, got them all processed very quickly. It was pretty cool.
Very
So,
nice.
Good stuff.
So how does this game dinner work? It's through the hunting club,
Yeah.
or the sportsman club, I
Yeah,
should say, right?
they collect different types of game, and over the course of the year, guys go out west. They'll come back with different, caribou or elk,
Or whatever.
different animal parts, and we'll have a big game dinner. Probably like 40, 50 guys get together, and we have a good time. A lot of fun, and we get to taste different stuff. So
Very cool.
what was that?
I don't know.
We
We missed-
sidebar. You see the sidebar starting already, and I just want to make everybody aware I did not start the sidebar. Everybody's worried that I'm going to be
We go off on wild tangents.
yes, which is going to happen. But I just want to say that I didn't start that.
Listen. Marcus may be my nemesis, but we make a lot of jokes together.
I totally.
I'm
missed
sorry.
it.
All I thought about was 40 dudes in a room. That's a lot of sausage.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Speaking of sausage, Marcus, what have you been up to this week?
All right. So Christmas came. I got Fallen Order. Man, is it good. So I did play Grandmaster.
You played on.
I have been playing on Grandmaster.
Okay, that's the
and
hardest difficulty.
So
in case
I
you
got
didn't know.
through the train
Okay, yeah, that's
on
the,
Grandmaster.
That's like the tutorial.
Correct. And
Novice level.
well, no, it was to learn it. What's the first planet?
Bogano.
Yeah, something like that. I got to a part where I had to fight 3 scout troopers.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I was
the
just
melee
like-
guys, right?
Yeah, the melee guys. And I was like, I want to enjoy this. So I went to story
Mm-hmm.
and beat it, and then I went to the next planet.
Zepho.
Yeah, Zepho, and I went back on Grandmaster, and I cleared some of it, but
It's really hard at Grandmaster.
Yeah, it's like playing nightmare level operations.
Yeah.
But it was really fun to do it. But I'm gonna enjoy the story because I only have another week before I'm back
Into raiding.
Yeah, back into raiding and stuff. So I've got a week to beat the game. Anyway, graphics are great. What's really sweet is when you go from playing a game that's 8 years old to a game that was just made.
Yeah.
And my computer showing like the highest graphic content and you seeing like the hairs wave in the wind and like the shirt move and the robot on your back, BD2 or BD1.
BD1.
Yeah. Just, it's unbelievable. Like,
The
how
detail,
far? Yeah. I played Destiny 2 again, but I can't do it.
It's not the same.
Well, no, it's I run out of ammo.
That's
I can't have a game that I run out of ammo. And
that's why you didn't like Fallout.
yeah, well,
'Cause the
no,
guns
that
broke
was
and
because
everything.
I shoot something in the head and
It doesn't die.
it doesn't die.
Yeah.
I run out of ammo on what is it, Call
Call
of
of Duty.
Duty.
In the campaign.
Recruit.
Well, yeah, but running out of ammo there, yes, you run out of ammo, but you also get it. Like you can get it right away. Where in Destiny, like once you're out of ammo, you have to kill something to get ammo.
Right, like with your
Yeah.
knife or whatever.
With my bare hands. Anyway, been tanking a lot in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and I'm loving that. I'm starting to like finally get comfortable with the mouse, using all the buttons on my mouse. For Christmas I got new keys for my keyboard.
Really?
Different color.
Oh, that's cool.
And they have a different. They almost feel like I'm going to say sandpaper, but that's not.
They're
it's
textured.
textured.
Yeah.
So when my hand is on the keyboard, because I have the fastest two fingers in Western Mass, I can feel the keys. Yeah, exactly.
Marcus types with his 2 pointer fingers, just so
I
everyone
actually
knows.
use my ring finger and my middle finger now too, but it's basically
Now he does.
Yeah, it's because I'm looking at the keys. But anyway, so I'm getting more comfortable using keybinds and not clicking the screen.
Right.
The new keyboard keys help too, because if I don't know where, because I don't type for a living, so I actually don't know where all the buttons are. I know where WASD is and F, because that was my function button in Call of Duty back in the day.
Right.
Other than that, 1 through 4 is no problem. Everything
Right.
else is just
You got to look for it.
I gotta look.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get used to it. F. And so my point is, the new keys, it gives me my eyes completely go to the keyboard, and I can see the pink keys, so I can know where the keys are. I know those are my keybound keys, so my eyes immediately go to the pink keys.
Oh, that's cool.
Pink.
That's a hot pink, or like
No,
a pastel.
like a baby pink.
Yeah, like pastel pink.
I think when I sent the link to Carrie for Christmas, I think I accidentally sent her the pink ones,
color?
the link, and
Yeah.
I really wanted the green ones.
Oh,
but
right.
I got the pink, and I'm not upset about it.
Hey, you just got you got Wanda instead of Cosmo. That's
yeah,
all.
Yeah,
Pink's a cool color.
yeah, I'm not mad. I'm comfortable with myself to have pink keys. But
You
Oh,
had
yeah.
pink paintball gear at one point, I think.
yeah, I love pink.
We do have the feminist on the podcast today, so I respect that. I respect the pink.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Really
I'll
laid it
throw
on thick
up.
today.
So something else that I'm finding that I know I talk about every episode now about the Switch, and I'm enjoying the luxury life of Switch play.
Oh, yeah, the portability, you can just take it wherever the hell you feel like.
Last
chuck it
night-
up on your belly and be
Last
done.
night I was exhausted, and I wanted to play games, but I really didn't want to go into the basement and turn on the computer or grab a controller or whatever.
Yeah.
So I just laid in bed, put the Switch on my belly, and had the Pro Controller at my hips,
Right.
and just jammed. And the other thing is Pokemon is really good. I'm actually enjoying the slowness of it.
Yeah.
I know.
It's deliberate.
Yeah.
You have to fight Pokemon
Over and
deliberately.
over and over and over and over and over and over.
Yeah.
To level up. But it's been an interesting Christmas week. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
It's just but being off from work, I would say, is probably the best part for me.
Yeah.
I don't get any of that, so
I getcha.
I
Yeah, to
folded
be
a lot
off.
I folded a lot of laundry.
Right.
A lot.
Make up for lost laundry time.
Yeah, Nick. What have you been doing?
So, since the last episode, I watched The Rise of Skywalker twice.
Oh shit! I didn't even mention that I watched that.
Yeah, what was your
I
experience like?
feel like that's kind of...
Pertinent to the episode.
Well, no, I feel like it's kind of obvious that you watched it.
No.
You can't
We
really-
didn't watch it.
But we had a big adventure.
Yeah, we watched it twice in a night, and we can talk about it after the break. But I totally fell asleep in the second showing for
Oh, I
like
did
15
too.
minutes.
Mark,
I was so tired, and I was just
yeah.
like, and I woke up and I was like, I can't believe I fell asleep. Note
Yeah.
to self: don't do the 11 o'clock show.
no, yeah, we were too tired.
Yeah.
So
This was my first premiere opening that you guys took me to, so that was pretty fun for me.
oh yeah, you got to
It's-
see it first.
And we were the first showtime in America on the East Coast.
Yeah.
6 o'clock was the earliest you could see it or buy tickets for.
Right,
Of course, I came out of the movie and yelled to Ariel about
a
Oh,
spoiler.
I know, spoiler.
spoiler. And I'm
By
like,
not thinking about it.
yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I'm not thinking.
Yeah, but nobody was there.
Thank God the
They
lobby
s-
happened to be empty.
Well, they spaced the movies perfect. So the first one was 6, second one was 7, the next one was 9:30,
Right.
and then the next one was 11:50. So it actually spaced out perfectly for us.
So yeah, I think we got out of the theater at like, I don't know, 8:45 or so roughly. So yeah, when we were out, there really was nobody there for that 9:30.
No, they were
showing
already
yet.
in the.
They were either already
the-
in the 7 o'clock showing, or like people weren't really there for the 9:30 yet. So your spoiler echoed only to employees, so it was no big deal.
Speaking of spoilers, though, can we talk about how I put on my Snapchat story, just saw Rise of Skywalker, and I said Jar Jar Binks is the Sith Lord? The amount of people I had that messaged me that were mad that I put a spoiler on my story, and I was like, no, you can't. I was like, first of all, you can't be mad if you don't know Star Wars. 'Cause
Yeah.
if you don't know Star Wars, it's a
Enough to
spoiler.
realize that that's a meme.
Like,
then-
you can't be mad. You can't be mad. But I was like, oh no.
And you
That's so
crossed a lot of
bad.
people off your nerd
Yeah.
list,
Oh
right?
yeah. I was like, nope. Goodbye. I'm gonna unadd you on Snapchat.
Yeah.
I don't do the Snapchat.
I like Snapchat.
Anyway,
But-
moving on.
So besides the Rise of Skywalker, I had a Christmas Eve party with my mom's side of the fam. My dad's side of the fam does Christmas Day, but I had to work Christmas Day, so I didn't really get to see it.
You
However,
didn't miss a lot.
Christmas Eve was
I
pretty
said
lit. I will say. We played all kinds of games. We dressed up as my nuclear family dressed up as characters from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the claymation movie from the 60s.
Nuclear family is your immediate family, like mom, dad, siblings.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Harry, for the breakdown.
I got you.
And
What?
of course, Ari had a onesie and was the Bumble, so the abominable snowman, and I was Yukon Cornelius. It was pretty awesome.
Wow.
It was great. It was the comfiest Christmas outfit I've ever worn.
Yeah. So
I
that
do
was
it
fun.
every
I
year.
was a badass Santa. I look good. Come on now. I
Oh
look
my
good.
God.
Give me some props.
Yeah, you spent like $600 on Amazon for your
No,
authentic Santa gear.
You did look good though.
Come on.
It was cool. Yeah, you had the wig. You had not only like a hat and a beard. You had a wig, a beard, a hat, coat, pants, boot covers to make your shoes look like boots,
Bells.
a belt, and bells that jingled. So you'd be like jing jing
In the
jing,
glasses
jing,
and the
jing,
white
jing, jing.
gloves.
Glasses
and the bag.
and the Santa sack.
But he
full of
had to
toys.
wear glasses because he can't see anything.
No, that is accurate, but these were just glasses.
These are regular glasses. So that was fun. That was Christmas Eve. And besides that, I did watch the Mandalorian finale, which was great, but I'm not going to say anything about it because two of our guests have not seen it.
If
It
you,
was so good.
It was
if
really
you
good.
told us that we had to watch it for today, we
I didn't
could have
think of it.
watched it.
I
We
just
could have
ass-
watched it.
I just assumed you would have seen it.
Yeah. You know what happens when you assume?
Yeah, make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah. So I assumed too, because why the fuck wouldn't you watch it?
Because-
It's the finale.
I was
That's right.
It's
watching
not
the
like
Patriots
it's episode
lose
4.
today, so that's.
Yeah, but
I
that's
should've- I
3
could've-
hours.
I could have easily watched a
Yeah.
Mandalorian.
Right.
yeah, I was with Mama Mo most of the weekend. She's not gonna watch The Mandalorian with me.
I
so.
getcha. So, long story short, that was good. In terms of video games, I played a little bit of Call of Duty as per usual, but also Mariana, best girlfriend ever, got me the Outer Worlds for Christmas. which is great. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. As listeners might know, Fallout New Vegas is probably my all-time favorite video game ever. And the same people that made Fallout New Vegas made The Outer Worlds, and it's basically Fallout New Vegas, but with all new graphics, and it's in space,
Dun, dun.
which is really cool. I'm enjoying it. A lot of the RPG elements are really, really similar. The dialogue is way better. What I'm really enjoying is the skill-based dialogue checks. So like you can. If your charisma's high and you can persuade somebody to do something, you have a lot of options to do that. So like right off the bat, in one of the first encounters in the game, you come across somebody and you can skill check them to get more stuff. So you can either just have like a bat or something that you start off with, or you can talk this guy into having him give you like his security sword thing, which is a better weapon. And then also, if you're I made my guy really, really good at talking. If you persuade him a lot, you can convince him to give you his gun, which is cool. Which like is a gun that you otherwise would not.
Did you
have.
get the gun?
Yeah, I did. Like right off the bat, I have a gun, and most people don't until later.
Right.
So which is cool.
Huh. Now, is it online based or is it just straight up?
No, it's just
solo?
it's an RPG.
Okay.
Just a sandbox RPG, which is sweet.
Full sandbox. You can go anywhere.
I think it's planet by planet, similar to. It's like within that planet you can go anywhere, and then but I think you go to different planets.
So it's not linear at all, except for the planets.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Which
That's
is cool.
sweet.
But I'm really like past the character creation part. I'm only like 3 or 4 hours into it, so I'll have more to come on that. So
Can we talk about what Marcus got us for Christmas?
Oh yeah, sure.
I think that's pretty cool. Marcus brought us little gifts over, and he gave my dad and I these little
Funko Pops.
The little Funko Pop peoples.
Yep.
And he gave us characters that he thought would represent us very well. So I got Will the Wise from Stranger Things, not just normal Will, but Will in his D&D costume Will, which I think is awesome, hilarious. And what'd you get?
I got Hopper.
From Stranger Things.
From
And
Stranger
that is
Things.
actually pretty accurate. So
It's funny. I love it.
Actually, very. But
Apropos.
yeah, apropos. That's a great show too, and man. That was an awesome series.
I know. If you guys haven't seen Stranger Things, especially the new season, it is very good. Highly recommend. Someone here hasn't seen the new season.
So we can't really talk about it because
they haven't.
else, right?
They haven't seen it.
Yeah, that is right.
Somebody
Like,
else
how do you
has
not see?
Yeah,
the movie?
you know what, Dad? You know what? It's our fault. We just assumed that they would have seen it since it's been out for
I mean, that's fair.
6 months
now. Yeah, but if you wanted to spoil or something,
you know what happens when you assume?
We look like idiots.
Yeah, no, you make an ass of you and me.
Yeah.
That's the thing about assuming.
Yeah, we assumed. Nicholas.
Marcus, no phones. I'm sorry, but you set the rules for me. I'm the newbie, and my phone is put aside.
No Facebook, Marcus.
Oh, he's on Facebook. Look at that.
No, I don't use Facebook.
Oh, yes, you
There's
did.
no, I don't use
yeah.
Facebook. I'm actually texting a customer.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh,
It's a-
sure.
yeah.
That's
Sorry,
a crock of shit there.
Yep.
That's all that is.
There's
Ross.
You know,
Facebook
yeah.
pyramid schemes.
Me? I'm not good.
perfect.
All
There
right.
you go.
I what do you call it? Had a little business to handle, and now it's set. So moving on.
Yeah, but Aaron, talk about Aaron.
So okay, so I view everybody in a weird way. So when it comes to funny Christmas gifts, because you don't want to spend a lot of money on everybody, I find things that are meaningful or purposeful. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
So when like the Funko Pops, that's how I view Ari and Storm and Norman. But like another example is my wife. I got her the Ember coffee mug. So her biggest complaint in life is that her coffee gets cold because she's watching the kids and running around.
Yeah.
So this coffee mug is a smart coffee mug, and it'll keep her coffee up hot for up to 2 hours or something
Well, that's cool.
in one coffee cup, and it'll maintain it. And they do the travel mug version, but just the mug for the house. And it sounds ridiculous, like who wants a smart coffee mug? But for her to be able to grab the coffee an hour later and it's still as hot as it was when it came out of the oven.
That's
I mean, oven. Oh my god.
out of the pot.
Out of the pot.
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
either way, it's yeah. Everything has a purpose.
So since we talk about it all the time, do we have any Star Wars SOTOR news?
Yeah, so congratulations to the BioWare team. It's been 8 years. Dan gave us a little snippet. If Nick, you want to read that?
Yeah, so it's been 8 years since the release. So Dan said, "Hello, everyone. Today marks our 8-year anniversary. To celebrate, members of the BioWare team and Lucasfilm team share their memories from 8 years of Star Wars: The Old Republic."
So,
And it was obviously in the
Dev Tracker.
yes.
And it's really cool to hear that a game can last that long.
Yeah, 8 years is a long time.
And the community is there, and it's just awesome. I mean, like, yeah, World of Warcraft and stuff has been around 15 years, but any game that can continue like that,
Yeah.
I'll give a relevant answer. Like the PlayStation 4 PlayStation has this exclusive content for Call of Duty,
Yeah.
and it's for a year.
Right.
In a year, nobody's going to be playing that game because
Right.
the next Call of Duty is going to be coming out.
Right.
So
8
yeah.
years is 8 times that. And
right.
to have that type of lifespan is really impressive.
Yeah. So in Guild news, go ahead.
January 10th is the mega event. That's monthly Epic Guild activity. And they're going to be doing a nightlife event, is what I'm reading.
No, wait. I think that event ended in July. I meant the Life Day event. We'll hug some
Oh.
Wookiees and throw some snowballs.
Perfect.
Also, straight from B Cavs, friend of the show,
Mhm.
starting tomorrow, December 30th, Mandatory Fun Nights will be going 1 week Imp, 1 week Pub, off, back and forth, and they'll be focusing on large target for their main Mandatory Fun Night on Conquest. Wait, I said that wrong. So they're going to be going for their large yield on the perspective side that they have for Mandatory Fun Night that week.
Okay.
So it's going to go 1 week Imp, 1 week Pub, 1 week Imp, 1 week Pub. And also just get ready for a great 2020 with AIE.
And if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org, jump in the Discord, and ask for a guild invite. Whether or not you play SOTOR or any of the other games that we play, we would love to have you. So we're not just talking about MMOs either, although you can jump into World of Warcraft or Lord of the Rings Online or Elder Scrolls Online or any of the big MMOs. We also have people who just play Destiny 2,
Yep.
all
But
kinds of shooters.
I wonder if anybody plays like Pokemon because
I'm sure.
I could trade Pokemon with them.
If you don't have Pokemon trade partners, go to aie-guild.org and get the Discord info. We want to
find me. I want to catch them all.
We wanted to catch them all.
And you know what else Nick has to catch?
Chlamydia.
I was going to say a bathroom break.
Yeah, I was going to say a bathroom break.
We just took it to a dark place.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That is really disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw up.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be right back.
Jeez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back.
Today we're talking about
The Rise of Skywalker. So before we jump right into it, I want to give a final spoiler warning. We are talking about everything in this movie, all of the things. So if you haven't seen it yet or don't want to be spoiled,
just shut it off.
Just shut it off.
Yeah, because I'm not going to tell you to come back.
Yeah, just shut it off.
Yeah.
So first things
Wait,
first.
why not come back?
Well, come back and listen to it after you've seen it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying come back like now. Well, we're not going to talk about this for 5 minutes and then come back.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay, I get it.
Anyway, the first part of this, I just have to say, is seeing it in the premiere for the first time is amazing because nobody else has seen it,
Right.
right? Yeah, people are talking about it or whatever somewhere, but for the most part, nobody's talking about it. The special part for me is this is the culmination of my childhood
Yeah.
to now being over. You know, it's been around forever. Well, 42 years. Speaking of that, this party happens once every 42 years.
That was a cool little.
That was very cool.
What would you call that? Easter egg, I guess.
I don't know. It was-
Reference.
Yeah,
Something
it
like
was
that.
just perfect.
So part of the 42 years, it really, really hit me that I remember the original when it came out, going to the movie theaters and seeing it. And that was 42 years ago. I'm like, holy shit.
Think about that first time you saw the Star Destroyer go over the screen.
We were just sitting there. in a theater, obviously, typical theater, just black, and all of a sudden, just, the even just the word trailing up was brand new for us. We never saw that, where you're seeing that, and all of a sudden, it's dead quiet, and then the
Star Destroyer?
oh my God, the star, just started coming into the screen, and just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And comes in, and then the sound of the
Engines
fighters,
and TIE fighters?
the TIE fighters, and oh my God, it sucked you into the movie. I love movies that you just lose reality, you forget everything that's around you, you forget life in general, and the movie just pulls you into it. And that was Star Wars, and 42 years ago. Because you guys got to remember, we didn't have computers. We didn't have all of the different CG and things that are going on now. Everything was done in miniatures and stuff like that. And for us, it was all just brand new, just raw, awesome cinema.
Okay, so going on that, I'm going to build on that. So a couple things. In 1977, there was no way to rewatch the movie. Okay?
Right.
So once it left the theater, it was it.
You can never see it again.
Yeah, that was it. So it was imagination that would carry you past that
Right.
until the next one comes out or they rescreen for it.
Right.
The other thing is, did you know that back then you could go pay one ticket to see the movie and stay as long as you want and watch as many of them as you wanted? Star
wow.
Wars is the reason why they made one ticket per show.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because people would just stay in the theaters
And watch it over and over.
over and over and over. Because again, there was not even VHS tapes then.
Right.
With the rewind.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean.
as my
But there was nothing. You couldn't watch a movie again.
That's crazy. I
Yeah.
never thought of that.
my childhood
Was-
Star Wars was VHS before school in the morning. I would watch Return of the Jedi or Phantom Menace because those were the only two VHS tapes that we just had in the room, and I would just watch those over and over. Mom would just be like, "Yeah, just put the tape in. Yep, just put the tape in." So I know those two movies like the back of my hand.
But the culmination of this movie coming to this day, it hits me inside just because it's been around my whole life. And seeing some of the nostalgic moments of the movie, I'm just going to say I liked the movie. Before we go into all the plot points,
Yeah.
I liked the movie.
I did too.
And, I'm sorry for people that don't. I can't understand how you don't like the movie.
I can understand. Right. Like, I can understand. I'm just going to speak broadly and quickly. I can understand how you can find some things that you didn't like, and there's things that I can, pick apart too. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie.
Yes, well, of course you can find things that you don't like, because as this is happening, there could be Mandalorians on another planet doing Mandalorian things.
Meaning, there's
I'm not saying the Mandalorian show. I'm just saying Star Wars is happening on this one planet in Episode 9.
Oh,
but
I
at
see.
the same moment, there could be Mandalorians attacking something on Utapau.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or some other planet that it's happening in the same galaxy. So, of course, people, you always want something else. That's the thing about Star Wars is it's endless.
I agree with that.
You know what I mean? So, of course, that's not my Star Wars.
Right.
Okay, but as a movie, it was a great movie.
I thought so too.
I thought it was a really good movie.
Yeah, and, I find it funny that people are like, oh, my God, bring George Lucas back. But when the prequels came out, everybody wanted to hang George Lucas.
Oh, my God. See, I agree with you, Marcus, because, see, to me, that's the part that brings the point around, is that the originals that came out, they were very enjoyable, and then you come back to this series that kind of wraps it up. The first two out of the three, I wasn't thrilled with, but the thing I liked about the third movie was that it kind of brought it back together. It really made a lot of sense to me. It answered a lot of questions. Not being as into it as you guys are, there were some questions I had on the other movies that just didn't make sense to me, and it kind of wrapped things up all the way around, and I enjoyed it a lot. So I agree with you.
Yeah, I agree too. There was a lot of stuff, like a lot with like Snoke when he just died off. I was like, well, that was stupid. Why would you build up this huge Sith Lord character and then to have him die off so quick? And then you kind of see that in the third one, understand his point in it. And then the same thing with Rey's powers. Everyone was annoyed that she could have these powers so easily. All of a sudden, she's
clear blue. Yeah,
she's sitting in this chair. You will let me out. You will, the stormtrooper. And I will do that. And you kind of understand it more because she was a Palpatine.
Right, and that's what he was best at, is manipulating people. That's why he was a really good politician.
Yeah.
But in the Force Awakens book,
Yeah.
the written version, they actually explain these things.
Right.
How Rey gains her power so fast, because from the first time she connected with Kylo Ren, she actually absorbed some of his Force powers. So the book versions, the novelizations of The Force Awakens and Last Jedi actually explain so much more. But I think the main problem with this sequel trilogy is that there was two different directors, and Disney clearly didn't have an idea in the beginning of how they wanted to tell this story.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo, bingo, bingo.
Right.
Couldn't agree with you more.
So that is why there's so much outrage in people. But in my opinion is Disney just wanted to finish this saga. So now moving forward, everything Star Wars Disney owns
And it's
Disney
original.
creates.
Yeah.
And it's going to be original to them. So we're not going to have, we can complain. We're going to complain about anything. But people are going to find something to complain about. But it's going to be a fresh story, so you're going to have nothing as a basis to go by.
Right.
I think the next story, whether it's in the Old Republic or the Mandalorian Wars or something, there's going to be something that you can reference to it, but it's not going to be something that's ever been made.
Right.
So it's going to be hard to be so critical about it.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little sidebar real quick, because I know we're not going to talk about the Mandalorians tonight, because Ari and I haven't seen the finale, but one of the things I really liked about that is how they pulled in a lot of the old props from the original movies and stuff, and they were, that was the old droid that was just sitting in the corner, all dusted up and basically rotting. They really did a great job of pulling in some of the old stuff that was just wiped out, and probably from the original movies that were just sitting in some kind of studio warehouse somewhere. Really thought it made it authentic, and it was really cool. I'm enjoying those a lot, and I will be finishing those up in the next couple of days.
Yeah. I enjoy those as well.
But it's hard for a movie to be able to explain something as much as a TV show,
Right.
in my opinion. I think personally TV shows allows you to go in more depth and stuff, because a movie you got 2.5, or in the Endgame's case 3 hours and 31 minutes or
Right.
whatever it was.
That was
Yeah, unless you're Kevin Costner in the what is it?
Gone with the Wind.
The Wolves, whatever.
Dances with Wolves.
Dances with Wolves.
17 hours later. God
But-
help us.
Yeah, but it's
Quentin Tarantino movie where it's
but
4 hours of just feet pics.
What?
I don't even know. Anyway, my point of this is nobody's ever going to be happy or satisfied.
Yep.
But if you go into it, just say, let's enjoy this. There's not really, of course there's some plot holes. Of course there's some issues. But, for the most part, the movie was good. And we all were on the seat of our pants from the moment it started until the moment it ended.
Yeah.
There was no point where we were like, oh, can we go to the next part?
Yeah. I was engrossed the whole time.
I find that one of my favorite moments was when they went into the Sith tomb.
Yeah.
Again, so gripe. I was mad that they weren't on Korriban. Which
I personally think that should have been Korriban.
yeah, of course.
Like
so
this
Korriban,
this
Korriban
unknown,
is the Sith homeworld.
right.
It was
They were on Exegol.
They made up a
Exegol.
planet.
right.
Exegol?
So, but Korriban was the original Sith homeworld. Then George Lucas changed it to Moraban, and Disney was like, "Nope, Korriban it is." And I'm like, "Perfect." And that would have been a perfect tie if they used Korriban for a tie-in to the old.
Republic.
Yeah.
Hey, can I ask a question here?
Sure.
Just because I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think that they left that off because in the future they're going to use that planet for future episodes?
Well, maybe.
I don't know. I'm just
Well,
being
no,
devil's
but
advocate
that's a
here,
great
you know what I
question.
mean?
No,
Because I don't know.
But why not give us a taste of it?
Right.
Because if they go back, because the timeline for all the movies are going backwards from this point forward.
Right.
And so whether you're gonna, what if they go to Alderaan 3,000 years ago? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you buy an apartment knowing that hey, this apartment won't be here in 3,000 years. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's
It's
cool.
but that's such a silly gripe for me. But
Yeah.
the fact that he was in a Sith tomb was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we got to, especially in the movies, seeing so much Jedi all the time. We only see the Sith as like these one or two people. You know, you see like individuals that are fighting. You never see like how the Sith is an entire religion in and of itself that's just as substantial as the Jedi religion. You know, you never really see that side of things until you finally saw this big Sith temple on Exegol, which I forget because Marcus and I have consumed so much other Star Wars stuff that we see a lot of Sith things in SOTOR and in the books that we've read or listened to, I guess, in our cases, but in different media that you never, for most people who only have watched the main movies, you never see like that much Sith stuff. So to delve into that side of the religion is pretty cool. I guess while we're on the topic of Sith stuff, can I bring up something? So, like, there's a few things that they pulled out of sort of extended universe / what do they call it, Legends stuff now. And the main thing being, with regards to Palpatine, the concept of essence transfer. So,
Oh yeah.
so I don't know if you guys understood what he was saying. I think I had to explain it after the fact. So Palpatine was saying that if Rey killed him, Rey wouldn't really kill him. His essence, or his Force ghost, if you will,
And all of the Sith that were in him.
and yeah,
right?
and all the Sith before him would go into Rey's body, and then they would all be one collective. So that started way back in the Darth Bane series of books. So Bane originally initiated this. Most of you probably already know this, but Bane started the rule of two. So there was a whole bunch of Sith in an order like the Jedi Order. Then Bane killed them all. Said, "Screw you! I'm the only one that gets control of the dark side." Then he took over and took an apprentice, Xana. So started the rule of two, saying there'll always be one master and one apprentice to covet the master's power. And eventually, the apprentice is going to try and kill the master, and eventually be successful. The apprentice will take the master mantle and take their own apprentice. So when that happened, Bane realized, hey, I have so much power and knowledge, I don't want for this to go away. I don't think Xana's ever going to get this much power. So he was looking into how to perform an essence transfer, where when Xana killed him, his Force ghost would go into Xana, and then they would be one being. So then all of his knowledge would be in Xana as well. So what Palpatine was saying is that that's happened successfully through all of the Sith prior to him. So when he killed his master, Darth Plagueis, he inherited all of the Sith knowledge prior to him. And so Palpatine wasn't just Palpatine, it's all the Sith from Bane down through Palpatine.
So
in
basically,
one.
what you're saying is the Emperor is Darth Bane.
More or less. Darth Bane plus all of the other Sith in one collective being.
It's kind of cuckoo bananas.
It is cool.
That's what I was thinking.
And then you have like the individual sort of ghosts, if you will, that were the audience members in that big Sith Coliseum, more or less, that they're in. That's kind of what I took it as.
Wait a minute. So you're saying all the people in the Coliseum, we'll call it,
Yeah.
are all the old Sith?
Yeah.
So Darth Bane was in that.
Yeah,
Group?
Darth Bane was there. You can assume Revan was there. Malak.
Whoever. I've never heard that theory.
That's kind of what I took it as, is like, so he has, through force, essence transfer, all of the Sith within him, and then because Rey has all of, not in a less direct way, had all the Jedi behind her helping her, more or less. That's how she had extra power, if that makes sense.
I get that part. The
Yeah.
part where Rey had more extra power because she had like the voices of the Jedi to help her.
Well, she didn't though. So
She didn't have like extra. I think it was just her being sort of guided by them.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
and I'm kind of proud of Kylo Ren because he finally manned up and became super powerful in this movie.
Yeah.
He was mega powerful in this movie, way more powerful than Rey.
Yeah.
And which was a nice thing to see that he came full circle, because in the beginning he was almost like a whiny.
He was like a Jedi, not what's Sith apprentice, I guess, the Padawan equivalent.
Yeah.
And he like barely knew how to fight. He like could channel the Force, but he didn't know how to use it
But
right.
he couldn't control himself. But like in this movie, it's like he became like Episode 7. He was a child,
Yeah.
and Episode 9 he was a man.
Yeah.
And it was a nice thing to see progression, right? To see him finally have the power that he deserves.
See, I think the young Vader did a better job of showing that progression than he did.
Yeah.
In that first movie. It was. You're right. Whiny. Come on. And I think that's what threw me off with Rey being, picking up so quickly, and then here he is. He's so-called trained, and she was kicking the shit out of him out in the forest. You know what I mean? So, and not reading the books. That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's the hardest part.
I didn't have
yeah.
that depth that you guys do.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it was throwing me off just watching the movies. And then, again, with the past history, the dark side was really heartlessly dark.
And strong.
Yes, it's strong. And
Right.
you needed a Yoda level,
Light side user.
yes, to fight that. So, so I agree with what you guys just said.
What else was I going to say? There's a couple other things that it was cool to see a Sith Wayfinder.
It's a holocron.
That's okay. I thought so. I'm
Like,
like when they called
yeah.
it Wayfinder, I'm like, isn't that just a holocron?
Or a
like,
datacron,
or datacron?
Yeah, it's something. It's a holocron, datacron. They call it a wayfinder, and I think that was a big fuck up on Disney's part.
You call it? It's a holocron.
like just
It's
like
always
people
been
you have to use the holocron or the datacron to find the temple. Well,
Yeah.
no shit. Now it's a wayfinder forever.
Like
And they had all the things like plugged into it.
Yeah, like that. I was fine with all that, but why did you call it a wayf? Like even in the Clone Wars, don't they find a Sith holocron that like
Yes.
leads them to
Yes.
Darth Bane's temple or
Yes.
something like that?
Yes.
And they call it a holocron.
Yes.
It's a holocron.
Yes.
It's already in canon.
Yes. Well, I don't know. Clone Wars is not canon.
I thought it was
I thought it was.
because
Oh.
Disney owns Clone Wars.
And there's also one of the voices that Rey hears
Is Ahsoka?
Yeah, from the Clone Wars.
Which I don't want to get to the end of the movie already, but I'm sorry. I think Disney totally like
Screwed the
wussed out.
pooch.
Yeah, they should have totally had everybody as a Force ghost
Yeah.
and like seen everybody as a Force ghost standing in front of Rey or around her as she was laying on the ground, not just people's voices.
Yeah.
Personally,
I think
like,
so
bring
too.
everybody back, let everybody show their face, and have Hayden Christensen stand there too, and just be like, "Get up."
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. That would have been awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
and they could have like
Yes,
they
they
could have done
coulda
like a
done-
cool graphic
That
where
would have
like
been,
they like they'd sort of dissolve into like some sort of like misty thing that like goes into Rey and then she
But it
fights
just
back the
brings-
lightning or
that would
something.
have brought it home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Again, I'm coming from the 70s, so
Yes.
that would have brought it home.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, so here we're talking about these negative things that we missed, but the movie was still good.
No, it was really good. I enjoyed it.
yeah,
Agree.
I agree too. There was a lot of it. I have a coworker who's very into Star Wars as well, and I just read on Facebook today, and he was habadoo-jabbing about the movie, and he was like, "I can't believe the Skywalker story's ending like this. This is terrible." And I was like, How can you walk away from that movie and say it was a bad movie?
It's because
Yeah.
they go into it with the mindset of they want it to be bad.
Right.
You're not going in there with an open mind, in my opinion. you're going in there with a closed mind that I'm going to hate it and I just have to see it and I'm just going to shit all over it.
False expectations.
See, I went into it with really low expectations
Me too.
because the first two of the sequel were not great.
Agreed.
I didn't like them. I didn't like the storyline of them. It just was super cheesy and wasn't great.
I agree.
And I thought this one was really good.
Me
I
too.
actually liked this one. I think I would put this one before all of the prequels.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I wouldn't go that far.
I
Maybe
don't
Revenge
know.
of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith is so
That's why I
good.
said
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's
fourth or fifth I would put this one.
but they're all good.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Except episode 8.
Episode 8's not good.
Well, okay.
I think episode 8.
I don't want to go down the Last Jedi train.
I know.
because-
I keep just have ripped
But-
that movie to shreds
All
so
right,
many
so
times.
no. I'm going to say this. As a movie itself, the
It's
quality of like the filmmaking is incredible.
Yeah, and even like
But-
okay, a standalone movie without
I wouldn't
knowing.
even say that.
Yeah, but no.
'Cause, no, from a casual Star Wars fan and a casual movie goer, I didn't like that movie.
Yeah.
I didn't like that movie.
Sure.
Well, yeah, I know I didn't either, but
The last one.
The Last Jedi. But anyway, can we just talk about Lando?
Lando was great.
So I had that in my notes. Yeah. Yes. Let's talk about Lando.
He looked great.
And I want to get back to
And
the other two.
I followed him on
movies, too,
Instagram.
later.
Yeah, so I followed him on Instagram, and he that dude was working out every day. Okay, and I was like, that guy is getting it, and you know,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
like, man, he's like 78 years old, and he was in the best shape of his life for a 78-year-old man or
Yeah.
however old he is.
Good for him.
But it was nice to see him in his part. I feel like Lando, he brought some people home, and his part was well taken. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't dragged out.
Wasn't forced.
No, not at all. There was so much other stuff that we could
No
say
pun
was
intended.
forced.
What?
No pun intended.
Oh.
I feel it. I feel the force. Anyway.
Oh,
Sorry.
Sorry, I had to
that
do it.
was a great no pun intended.
Yeah.
Well done.
But either way, Lando, it was nice to see him, and at the end of the movie, how like it was implied that like, well, let's find out where
Oh,
you're from,
yeah.
because that's his daughter.
And I like how you know what? I really like how they didn't explore that.
I think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a new sideshow.
Perfect. I like the tease.
That's great.
You don't need to get into that. That's an extra. Like okay, so like that whole. Going back to Last Jedi, the whole casino plotline was unnecessary. So like that is
Stupid.
so exploring Lando's daughter and like that interaction would be an unnecessary plotline in this movie. But the tease for it is perfectly placed. I thought, like I like the tease. Like just place it in there, make you wonder about it. Go, ooh, cool, but keep it moving because it's not what we're talking about in this movie. You know what I'm saying? And then explore that elsewhere.
I just really enjoyed them pulling it together and wrapping it up, and just from just seeing it from the 70s on up and watching this whole thing go on, to pull him in and to be a part of it and to see some of the faces,
Yeah.
coming in line, it really felt good. Again, it sucked me into that movie and brought back a lot of memories. It was really cool.
Yeah, I agree. Can I go on a little sidebar? Could I talk about lightsabers?
Oh, I had that in my notes
Hey,
too.
before you do that, can I just? Ari mentioned the other two movies.
Yeah, in the sequel trilogy
Yes,
here.
Yeah, and one of the things that was a grind, and Nick, I talked to you about this several times, was I just thought the CG was just absolutely terrible. I thought they really cheapened out on it. When you look at something like the Lord of the Rings and the depth of the screenplay and things like that, it just wasn't there for me with the other two movies. You know what I mean? Where you
Yeah.
didn't have when they were coming into a planet. It was just a
I didn't
cheesy
feel like
CG.
I was in the movie like you do with the original
Wait.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Are you saying for episodes 7, 8, and 9?
No.
Seven and
8 specifically.
Yeah, 7 and 8.
Well, so in episode 7, J.J. Abrams brought back all the props. Those were all done live on sets. That was not green screen. That was not CG.
I will argue that the prequels use of CG was terrible.
Well, it was
yeah.
it was 1999.
No. Hang on. Phantom Menace was 99. I actually went back and rewatched recently after the fact.
Revenge of the Sith. I
is
remember
a
that
ton
coming out.
of CG. And I remember it coming out as fine. It did not age well, whereas Lord of the Rings has aged very well, I thought.
Yeah. All I can say is you watch today. You watch Lord of the Rings, and you know what? If that's what they did, Marcus, it was a mistake in my opinion, because that is not what the public is used to seeing.
But here's the difference. Look at this glass. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's Star Wars. You're watching it close up. Lord of the Rings, this glass is panned out all the way upstairs on the bar top because it's big battles.
Right.
So
their CG is
the CG is easier to
get away with
because it's so far away. And then when they brought it into a close up,
it was all
for
practical effects.
You know,
like all the
Aragog, or whatever his name is, killing an orc. They focused on that one scene, and then it was back panned out to the big battle. Right. So it's easier to age the CG well.
No. You're missing my point. That you're what I'm exactly saying is when a starship is coming into the big screen, coming into a planet or whatever, flying in, and it was just lame, cheesy 1980s CG kind of thing. I mean, it was just like, come on, man. You know, whereas, you know, like I said, with the Lord of the Rings, when you're seeing the Moldor or whatever, you're seeing this, you're sucked into the whole movie, and you're just brought right in. And I thought that some of that was just, I don't know, I just thought it was poorly done. That's all.
Did you feel that for this movie too?
No.
So episode 9, you thought they did a much better job with.
Much better. And I think I actually mentioned that to you guys when we were leaving. I thought they did a much better job of really wrapping you into the movie. They were sucking you into the movie. And that's what I enjoy about these kinds of movies. Is you just forget about where you are. You forget about Saving Private Ryan in the theater. I'll never forget it. It sucked you into the movie. Those first 20 minutes, I thought I was on the beaches of Normandy.
Right.
I think jumping off of that would really suck me into this movie, and I thought the effects with it were awesome when they did the hyperspace skipping.
Wow.
Yes.
I thought that was so cool.
Very,
and we started
very cool.
the movie off like that, and I was like, oh shit, this is going to be cool. This is exciting.
Something else, too, is you finally got to see Poe flying as the pilot you always thought and heard he was.
Right.
Yeah, that's
because when he's flying an X-Wing, he's all alone.
Right.
But flying the clunky old Millennium Falcon, I mean, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Well, you know what?
We gotta.
Here we go.
Yeah, we had to.
Strap in, baby.
But it was a nice tie-in. I don't know if you thought about it. It was a nice tie-in to Episode 8's tracking Lightspeed.
Right.
Yeah.
Because they would jump to Lightspeed and they were like, and then they skipped and they're like 3 more or 2 more skips, and you're like, why are they timing it? Well, it's because the TIE fighters kept skipping right behind them.
Right.
So clearly they still have that technology of following the hyperspace jumps, which I thought was a nice tie-in to the
Episode 8?
Yes.
So, speaking of tie-ins, that original concept of hyperspace skipping comes from the Thrawn books originally.
Correct.
Which, I think I remember there being 3 things. There's Force Essence Transfer being from the Extended Universe. That the hyperspace skipping was from the Extended Universe / Legend stuff, which I like them seeing that and using things like that. Because there's so much there and so many cool things. I'm glad they started to bring some tidbits in. Harry?
I have a question. Is the Force Essence transfer what Baby Yoda is doing in The Mandalorian in Episode 7 when he's healing?
No.
Okay.
You
he's
know,
just healing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of little pieces, I thought it was really cool when the stormtroopers all of a sudden could fly. I didn't know they could fly.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't either.
I guess they could fly. That was just a little tidbit that was
funny.
Pretty cool
at
the time.
The nice part about stormtroopers is you can guarantee in every movie there's a new stormtrooper or a new style.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
the Sith troopers in this one, they were
yeah,
red.
in Solo you got the the train troopers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And snow troopers, like an upgraded snow trooper, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the movie kept going, but I felt like, okay, the Sith trooper, I didn't really feel like
They weren't really
connected.
apart.
Right, they were there, but I didn't feel connected. Like the Emperor's Imperial Guard from back when,
Yeah.
like they freaked me out when I was
Yeah.
watching the original movies. And the Sith trooper, I was just like, okay, it's just a red stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Merchandise,
Exactly.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I will say, it was said to me by Doc.
Yeah.
He said General Hux is the main character of this sequel trilogy. Because when you first met General Hux in episode 7,
Is that the red-haired?
yep,
Yeah, the red hair.
he was like a Nazi.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
We are the first order. You know what I mean? Going
Right.
bananas. And then he, in Last Jedi, he was kind of just like
Knocked down a few pegs.
wussified.
Yeah.
And then in this movie, the only thing they could do to save him is have
Him be like the
have him be the traitor.
right.
But I think it was. I didn't see it coming, but I think it was. I think it was a good tie-in to all the rest of the movies, just to use the character.
Yeah.
But I think his reasoning at the end showed how evil he was. He didn't give a shit if they won or not.
Right.
You know, they just they hated. He hated
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. That's it. So he was just a miserable son of a bitch.
I
Right.
kind of get it though. Imagine having to be the
Stooge.
next person under Kylo Ren, little bitch baby boy Kylo Ren.
That's true.
You know, it's like imagine your boss is a teenager,
Right.
an emo teenager with superpowers.
Right. That would suck.
Yeah, it would suck. Yeah, I would be pissed too.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nazis, I thought a really cool scene was when what is the name of the planet where Poe originally did his spice
Running.
spice running?
I don't have that answer. And I don't
do.
even know
Wait,
the
I
name
got
of his love of his life.
Yeah, that girl who
I
was
can't.
really cool.
Hey, can I get a kiss?
She was like, no.
She's like, no.
She
All
kind of
right.
looked like a Power Ranger, not gonna lie. But I thought
Power Rangers.
Power Rangers. But I thought that entire planet was really cool. It almost reminded me of movies of like old Nazi Germany, where the troopers, which is what I know what the whole stormtroopers are supposed to be like, anyways. But it just with like snowy and all the cobblestones and stuff, and the soldiers coming to people's homes and going in and everything. I really liked that scene. I thought that was really cool. And I don't think I've ever seen in the movies a planet like that where it was almost like a city with the cobblestones and snowy like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
The other part is the Knights of Ren. So in the comic books
Mm-hmm.
and the books, the Knights of Ren were a powerful group that followed Kylo.
Yeah.
And in this movie, I didn't even feel connected to them. I
No.
felt as if they were just
Thrown
guys
in.
in black suits.
Yeah, I feel like, if you wanted to make us care about the Knights of Ren more, I feel like you should have seen more of them in the first episode. You know what I mean? Like, we never see them in episode, and it would make sense when Kylo Ren like is throwing the mask and he's like, "Screw you, I'm doing my own thing." It would make sense to not see them too much in The Last Jedi. But I feel, because we didn't get any Knights of Ren development in episode 7 when they showed up again here as Kylo's like retaking his Kylo mantle.
Yeah, but
It didn't. I didn't really. I agree. I didn't really feel connected to them.
they could have just been Sith guards,
right
for all we knew.
and it would have made a difference.
and it would have been fine.
I think if you weren't a super Star Wars nerds, you wouldn't have even known who they were.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. They would have just you would have
It's
thought
just
they were
people
Sith.
in the background.
Yeah, they would have
Well,
just been
so,
Sith.
So coming
bodyguards.
from Ari's point, for a minute there, I'm like, and actually watching the Mandalorian series, I was thinking, are these guys Mandalorians? Are they Mandalorians? And and Nick said to me, no. He explained that in the books and stuff like that, there's what they are. I'm just not as clued in, Ariel, like you said. So I was like,
Who the
what
heck
are
these
they?
guys?
Who
Yeah,
are they?
they're just
yeah,
these
exactly.
dark
I didn't
figures.
know either.
Dark figures with masks that are stalking around, and then at the end they fight Kylo Ren.
Right.
But did you guys get all worried and teary-eyed when Chewie died?
Yes, I thought he died for real. I was like, what the fuck? Another one? Like, come on.
Ariel.
Did Eric
She was
cry?
sitting next to me. Oh yeah, she was like, Chewie.
No. I go. Dinner's a little chewy tonight.
I thought that was cool. And as soon as Rey let out Force Lightning, I was like, "Yep, she's Palpatine's kid."
I didn't even make that
offspring.
connection.
That was immediately what I thought.
Well, again, casual
Yeah.
versus hardcore.
I
I was
just
like,
thought-
"Wow, they're really gonna make her Palpatine's relative." Or like, I thought it was his kid.
Yeah, but didn't Yoda do that too?
No,
No.
I just thought it was
he's
her.
caught Force Lightning.
Yeah, you
Oh,
can catch
okay.
it and
and send
absorb
it
it.
back. But he never to generate it is a purely dark side force
Yeah.
ability.
I just thought it was her like dark side coming out. I would not even.
Yeah, she was mad that Chewie died.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it literally was. But like from a Star Wars movie going thing, like the only big person that you see in these movies doing Force Lightning, I think literally the only person you see
Yeah, it's
doing Force
Palpatine.
Lightning is Palpatine. So I was like,
Wait a
oh,
minute.
that's gonna be
no,
a
she did
foreshadow.
the Force Lightning, and it killed her. Force Lightning killed Chewie.
Right.
No,
Not that she
Yes.
did it because
She
of
exploded
Chewie.
But
Yeah.
it
She
wasn't.
exploded
But
the,
Chewie was on a
transport.
different thing.
Transport.
Yeah, but we didn't know that when it
Yeah.
happened.
At the time.
Right.
Chewie.
So
Also,
go ahead.
Nick.
Well, I was gonna just talk about my sidebar with lightsabers, but
We can go on to that because I wanted to talk about that too. Her yellow lightsaber.
yeah, I'm looking more at the hilts.
I don't know what that is.
So that's the handle part.
Oh, okay.
Marcus, what were you gonna say? Something more closer related?
No, I liked how she buried the lightsabers.
Of Luke and
Tatooine.
I did too. I liked.
But
Oh, okay.
somebody's going to dig those things up someday.
Oh, of
yeah.
course.
Right.
Those are two very strongly linked to the light side lightsabers.
Well, it's not just that. That's just like a Disney in case moment. We're running out of money. We got to make a movie. Somebody's digging those things up.
Exactly. Right.
I liked how we saw her slide. It's just a little tidbit, but saw her slide down the sand.
Well, at the
and
Lars Manor.
Well,
like,
and that's the first time that we see
or
her.
the Lars Farm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
we-
the first time we see her is sliding down the sand in the sled. You know, it's just kind of going back to that little kid mindset where she's all alone on that planet. The
She's-
same.
Yeah, you're closing the narrative loop. I thought that was a nice visual motif to signify that. So Ariel, you want to talk about her lightsaber being yellow?
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I don't know exactly what it's called because again, I'm just casual Star Wars
A
viewer.
filthy casual.
Casual Star Wars fan. But I did see.
I don't know. Fly casual.
That went over my head too. Go
What
ahead,
do you
Ariel.
mean when they were flying to the Yavin in the Imperial shuttle?
Remember in the beginning when
When
I
to
said
take out the shield generator, and Luke is like, and they were waiting for the clearance for the codes, and
Oh yeah,
Han's like, I don't know,
fly casual. Because you can't. There's no difference.
See, this is where nerd
comes
anyway.
out.
So what were you saying, Ari? So we were
Remember-
interrupting you.
remember that.
Remember in the beginning when I was like, I'm gonna get interrupted a million times.
I need you to speak up though, because your whisper doesn't do good for everybody else in the world.
Sorry, podcast viewers, listeners. I saw a video where it talks about what the yellow lightsaber means,
Mhm.
Yep.
and it's more of like a balance into the Force, but it's also more of a practical use, less actual Force heavy things with their Jedi. And I'm gonna butcher this because I just watched a quick video on it and I don't
Yeah,
know the
no
actual
worries, go
lore
ahead.
of it. But I thought that was really interesting because it kind of plays a part to how she's been with the Force throughout the 3 movies, where she's not really taken apart to the light side, and obviously not the dark side either, but it shows more that she's able to do more of that hand-to-hand combat, practical use of the Jedi with the lightsaber rather than just relying on the Force. And I thought that was pretty cool, her having a yellow lightsaber.
Me too. What were you gonna say, Marcus?
In the Legends, which I don't know if this is canon,
Right.
it takes dark side and light side crystals to make the orange
Right.
Oh,
or
that's
the
cool.
yellow. So that I think is
Well, orange and yellow are slightly different.
I mean the orange.
You're
Hers
talking
is
about the
red.
orange. So
Yeah.
in Legends, I believe, like Old Republic-y stuff, a yellow lightsaber is typically used by Jedi Temple Guards.
Yes.
On-
Yes, it is. Because I
and-
couldn't remember what it was called, and I.
But the yellow color comes from a dark a crystal that was red, used by someone dark side. That was then when that person then comes back to the light from the dark side, then it turns yellow. So what I took the yellow the yellow kyber crystal color to mean is that Rey sort of flirted with the dark side between the lightning when she blows up the ship, and then it also is basically going to accept Palpatine's deal and become the empress of the dark side before Ben Solo comes and steps in. Ben Solo / Kylo Ren. So she's basically accepted the dark side, and then comes back to the light, and it becomes the champion of the light, if you will, and defeats the Emperor. So her coming back to the light, sort of, I thought the yellow color, in that context was fitting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. I agree. That's what I kind of saw in that video too. Is
Yeah.
balance between the light and the dark.
Yeah.
And then I think they also said something with the temple.
Guards.
Temple guards use more practical use of Jedi's, where it's like hand-to-hand combat and things like that, which is what Rey has done throughout the 3 movies. It's constantly, especially in the 9th episode, you see it's like, Rey, we need you here. You're the best fighter we have, and things like that, and where she has to go and do Force things.
100%.
So I thought it was very fitting for her to have a yellow lightsaber. I thought that was very cool.
And I like that she put some of her staff on the hilt.
That's what I wanted to talk about. So of all the things in the movie, I really let all of my gripes go except for this one thing. I think it's complete and utter bullshit that she doesn't have a double-sided lightsaber. And I know her hilt is symmetrical, so it could technically come out and be double-sided, but it's like a single hand. It's too short. Like, she should have a Darth Maul length double-sided lightsaber. And the evidence for that, like the foreshadowing, comes earlier in the film when she's running through the obstacle course. Like, she's clearly not great with that, with the single-bladed lightsaber, and she switches back to her staff on a few different occasions. I think it happens earlier in one of the other movies too.
Well, also
She uses her staff for something, and then comes back to it, and then she kills the droid with like a stick that she uses like a staff. And I thought eventually at the big reveal was she made a double-sided lightsaber from her staff.
Well, also the vision she has of the dark-sided version of her had a double-sided lightsaber.
Right.
Yeah, and that was okay. I'm sorry. The one thing, that it was too much from Disney. The trailers,
Yeah.
they showed too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, they didn't give the plot points, but like that would have been an unbelievable moment inside the movie, never seeing it, and that happened.
Yeah,
Right.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
That would have been
And,
crazy.
yeah, you would have been like, holy shit, there's Rey, dark side.
Right. I wish they hadn't shown that in the trailer.
I like how she twists the lightsaber to turn on.
That's pretty cool.
She has a righty tighty lefty loosey on off rather than W and S.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or north and south.
Right.
Which was pretty interesting to witness.
Or like even it's not just a button either. I thought that was cool.
What did you guys feel about the whole them going to the Death Star, then Rey and Kylo fighting on the Death Star, Rey killing Kylo,
And then him.
healing him?
I thought that was fine. She killed Kylo Ren and Ben Solo was reborn. I thought that's what that signified.
Yeah, I kind of liked it too. I thought it was an important plot point to do another part of the Force transfer, because Leia sensed that her son was dying. I felt that she did a Force transfer of her powers to him, and then it looped back around where Ben Force transferred his to Rey at the end.
So-
And that's when Leia and him.
Right. I want to make an important point, Ari, that you might not recognize. So the essence transfer thing that I was talking about with regards to the Sith is different than like the healing things that the Jedi were doing. later. Does that make sense?
No, yeah.
Oh, you knew
I know,
that?
I
Okay.
know that it's different, but I don't know the exact terms.
No,
for it,
and I don't
but
either.
it's-
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, I know that Leia sent her
Yeah, her like
juju magic to her son,
to save him,
and then he ended up using it to save
Rey.
Rey at the end.
Yeah.
And I know that that's different than Rey healing Kylo in that scene.
I don't think she should have healed him. I think she should have fulfilled her destiny.
Do
and
it.
Move to the dark side.
Kill him.
Here's a crazy question.
Okay.
Was Kylo Ren on borrowed time? So did Rey heal him enough and Leia concentrated enough, keeping Kylo alive because he had to be alive to kill the Emperor with Rey?
I think so.
Yeah,
so was
pretty
he
much.
dead essentially the whole movie because he was in Kylo Ren gear on the Death Star and then he was just in all black everywhere else?
Well, he was Ben.
Yeah, he
It's
was
just-
Ben Solo. Everywhere
It's just
else.
his Leia side
Right,
of
but
who
was
he
he?
was.
But did she really heal him enough to be alive, or
Yeah.
was Leia keeping him alive?
Well, I think you can say that it's both. I think it was Rey healed him enough to keep him alive, but also Leia was the driving force to have him be able to do all the things that he did, continue to be connected with Rey, fight all of the Knights of Ren, do the super cool switcheroo with the lightsaber.
That was awesome.
Which in that part of the movie, I was like, no way!
That was like, yeah, I love his smile.
Yeah, he's
He was
just
like, well, I had to do it to you.
yeah.
It's what you get for fucking with me.
I thought that part was so cool.
And he just messes them all up.
Well, I think. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, from a novice position, I think one is physical, the other is the Force.
What is?
I kind of get that.
Curing him.
Yeah.
Where Rey,
I think Rey physically cured him,
Yeah.
saved him, his body.
Yeah.
But then Leia came in and pulled him in back to the light side on the Force side. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just resurrected, not resurrected, but, reinforced. Because he was torn. He's been torn the whole time.
Yeah.
And there was that
Back and forth.
gray area in between, and she pulled him in. I think one was one piece, the physical body, and the other was the other. So just my opinion.
Yeah.
I agree. That
I think
makes
that's
sense.
that's a good way to think about it. For sure. What'd you guys think of Leia's lightsaber? Oh, Marcus, do you want something to? about
Well, no,
Kylo?
I think. Well, okay, so Leia, I think her lightsaber was awesome, just because it finally brought the EU Leia to reality where she was training. Like, I understand why she stopped, but basically what they said was Leia knew all along that Kylo Ren was going to turn to the dark side. Ben Solo was going to turn to the dark side
Right.
because she had the premonition all those years prior training with Luke. And so she knew, since Ben Solo was a kid,
Yeah.
that he was going to be evil, and she shut herself off from it
So
to
that she.
show she could try to protect him.
Right.
And I think that kind of reinforces what we just talked about too. Her sending her the Force juju magic to Ben, Kylo, making him Ben,
Yeah.
and things like that, to
Yeah.
killing him.
Well, and, there's a theory that when Ben has his vision of Han Solo on the Death Star, he was dead.
Oh, he
And
was dead during that.
dead during that. And that was just him on the other side and him basically saying, yeah, I killed you. I'm sorry.
So, yeah. So I think that's a fine theory. Well, in reality, what happened was that was supposed to be Leia's Force ghost, essentially. But because Carrie Fisher died, they couldn't shoot that scene, so they made it Han Solo rather than doing it all CG. So that's why they called it, because Harrison Ford wanted nothing to do with this movie. The only reason he agreed to come back and do that scene is because Carrie Fisher died.
Wow.
So-
Really?
Yeah, that's 100%. That was going to be Leia instead of
If you were
No, I
Han.
got that part, but
Yeah.
I didn't know he didn't want any.
Yeah,
part
that's
of it.
why they killed him off in episode 7. He goes, "I'll do one more movie. I am not doing a trilogy. I want nothing to do with Star Wars."
Well, he didn't say he doesn't want anything to do with it. He's been doing it for 42 years.
Right.
Or even more, 45 years with recording and everything.
Right.
And I can get it. Like, Like,
Want to be
I'm
done.
ready to shut it off.
Yeah.
I'm ready for it to be over. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I understand that he just wants that closure.
Yeah.
Oh man, you were saying something and it popped something in my head, and then
How that was going to be Leia as like a Force Ghost or something.
So what do you think of the Leia scenes?
I thought all of them were great. The only thing that I didn't like was the CGI DH Leia's head.
What's DH?
It was like making the young Leia, like the face of young Leia.
Oh.
The flashback when Luke and Leia were training. I thought Luke's face looked great, like young Luke, but I thought Leia's young face there looked pretty poor.
I didn't even notice. I thought it was good for what it was. I knew going into it that it was all going to be CG because
I thought it was
Fisher was passed away. So I thought it was good for what it was. I didn't expect her to be in the movie as much too, which I was really surprised about.
Me too. I agree. I was surprised at how much footage they had. And if there was if they CG'd present day or whatever Carrie Fisher in, I didn't notice any of that. The only time I
don't
noticed
think they did.
the only time I noticed, CG Carrie Fisher was when it was the flashback. And and that was pretty jarring. But I thought the CG of, young Mark Hamill as Luke was pretty good, I thought.
And Luke, something personally that I loved was when Rey went to throw the lightsaber and Luke caught it and was like, please don't disrespect this lightsaber. I was like, finally, that was the fuck you, Ryan Johnson moment.
That was fuck exactly.
And I was just like,
you.
finally, thank you. Like, you can't just disrespect the Jedi.
Yeah.
And I feel like they redeemed Luke, and this is the part that Luke should have played.
Yeah, in The Force Awakens too.
Yeah, in any of them. Well, I can understand the whole plot of The Force Awakens. Everybody's looking for Luke.
Yeah, that's
you know
fine.
what I mean.
I'm cool with that.
But just skipping past 8 and just coming here, I think Luke finally got his time.
Yeah.
Can I just add a little
You can say anything you want.
Sidebar to that. This is a memo to any company that's listening in. If you're going to do a trilogy of movies, have the same director do all 3. They had a mishmash of directors come in, and now this guy, or girl, woman, whatever, that did the last one.
It was all guys.
They did it right. So I'm just saying, non-gender specific, I don't care.
Kidding.
All I'm saying is that if you get the same feel, you'll get the same feel all the way through. And it's annoying when they bring in different directors and they throw Jar Jar Binks in the middle of whatever. Good Lord.
They make Jar Jar Binks the Sith Lord.
Help me.
It's crazy.
I agree completely. I think even without the storyline differences, I think the cinematography in The Last Jedi is way different than either Episode 7 or 9. And now that's really nitpicking. Like I wouldn't care about that normally, but if you look at it from a filmmaking standpoint, the visuals and the types of shots and sort of visual motifs are way different in Episode 8 compared to
I was gonna
7
say
and 9.
in 9 was very dynamic shots.
Yeah.
And the things that they were doing with the movement of the screen and even colors of the scenery and stuff,
I
felt like I was in a galaxy far, far away.
See, and that's my point. Is that you. Again, I'm not dialed in as you guys are, where you know all the intricate details. So I'm going for entertainment. I'm going in to get sucked into this movie, and that's where I think the difference is, and that's my whole point of that.
I think I think this movie may have done, if not the best, then maybe the second best job of giving you a scope of the galaxy of any of the Star Wars movies in the main sort of 9 films. Because I think
I would agree.
Between some of the visual motifs you get, the bright orange of that desert planet they go to, whose name I'm blanking on, something with a P, I think, and then the dark blue. It's just dark but it's also all blue themed lighting in
the Sith Temple.
Yeah, the Sith Temple, which is just such super duper contrasting. And then every time they were doing the light speed jumps,
Yeah, I was gonna
those
say.
are all super different environments too. So it makes you real like they do a really nice job of highlighting. Hey, these are way different places. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought they did a really cool job with that, and that makes you get sucked in and going, oh, we are in a just all over the galaxy here. This is a galaxy-wide storyline that we're playing around in here.
This is the Star Wars.
Right. I thought that was cool, and I think the color palette and sort of varying, I don't know, environments and things like that gave me a Guardians of the Galaxy type vibe from this a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It's
Where-
I mean, it's not storyline. It's not as
No,
like
it's not the same.
goofy, but I think scenery wise, color wise, and even shots of some of the scenes of them flying, I would say definitely has that like
Sort of.
fun Guardians of the Galaxy feel to it.
Sure.
You're on an adventure in space, which is cool.
I loved it. Yeah, I agree.
So, Palpatine, the Emperor.
Yeah.
Wait,
can you say Palpatine correctly?
Palpatine?
No, Palpatine.
Palpatine.
It's not Ovaltine.
Oh my God.
Well, whatever. The Emperor. So, something that is awesome that he was so creepy, but I'm kind of a little conflicted on it
Yeah.
because these movies are supposed to appeal to kids.
Yeah.
And like the Emperor was really, really dark, and I'm actually like, I haven't taken my daughter to see it because I'm trying to work it through my head on how I can get her through those parts. And yeah, you can cover the eyes, but I mean, he was really, really, really dark,
Yeah, and really creepy.
really creepy, and
Like, even throughout all of his talking, granted, as an adult watching this, I'm an adult, that's weird.
well, yeah, the
Well,
whole
as an
finger.
adult-
Yeah, it was
His fingers
creepy.
are decayed and
But
falling
that's
apart.
what I'm saying, and I understand why they're doing it. Like he's hanging on a claw.
Yeah, he's on a boom arm.
Right,
A
exactly.
mic arm, if you will.
Yeah, mic arm, just floating around because he's so withered away, which I understand. But this is supposed to be like family-friendly movie, and now all the haters out there are gonna be like, "Oh, you can't bring a 5-year-old to a Star Wars movie," but why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, because I
So wait and rent it.
well,
And then have
Yeah,
them
but
not
Julia's
watch it.
pumped to
yeah,
see
but,
it.
Yeah, but you can't. How do you not take your kid who
No,
loves
I-
Star Wars to go see this? Like when we were there,
just think
there were little
Palpatine-
kids.
I just think Palpatine is the same, just as creepy as he was in the originals back in
No,
the day.
I
think
thought
this is
this
worse.
one was
Well,
worse.
but things have gotten worse. Society
Yeah.
has gotten worse. You know, things are more accepted today
Yeah.
than they were back in the 70s. But back in the 70s, when he was doing his "Come to the Dark Side," and that whole thing was pretty heavy.
Right. That's true. I guess
Mark-
that's true. And he was all wrinkled and
That's all we
mangled.
had to go by anyway. You know what I
Right.
mean? That
Well,
was our
right.
reality.
But all I'm trying to say is that for me, I was watching little kids come in there on opening night, excited, and I was thinking about them watching that. And the first thing was, I think this is creepy.
Me too. I was like, whoa.
They,
Like,
they just went there, and it didn't happen like later on in the movie. It was right front and center.
Yeah.
First
Well,
30 minutes of
you
the
know
movie.
Did you
how-
say what 5-year-olds? Is that what you said? For
Well,
the
I don't know.
age.
Well,
what are you saying for age? I'm just curious.
Well, I don't know how young those kids were.
Oh, okay.
But there
Under
was a
10?
bunch of there were kids with their dads.
Well, because I was just wondering, because I know somebody that watched The Grinch That Stole Christmas at like probably 5 or 6 years old, and he got ruined for a long time because his dad showed him way too young.
I don't
guess.
know who you're talking
yeah,
about.
but what I'm trying to say is here's a dad who's probably watched Star Wars for his life.
Yeah.
And taking his kid who has been watching Star Wars with his dad
Yeah.
and going to see this movie. Like you taking Nick and Ari to see the prequels, you never felt at 1 second that they were going to be scary. They were going to be scary and he wouldn't be able to handle it. Never.
Yeah.
And then in episode 7 and 8 is not like that.
Right.
I mean, Snoke is a little creepy,
But not too bad.
but not.
Not to the point of nightmares. That's-
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
and that's why, honestly, that's why I haven't brought Julia to see the movie. It's because I'm actually concerned that if she sees that,
she's
she's
gonna be
gonna
too
get
freaked
nightmares
out.
and it's gonna
Well,
mess her up.
Can I say something really quick?
Yeah.
Remember a while ago when I texted you, not a while ago, like 2 weeks ago, when I texted you guys where I said that I don't think I've ever seen from start to finish The Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah.
I think it was because I had watched these movies all the time when I was little, and I think that we always fast forwarded through the beginning part of where he has to sleep in the thing and the Yeti monster and everything.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
Wampa.
I remember
Yeah.
doing that, watching it and fast forwarding through that part so that you could watch it with me.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I've never. That's when I had the realization, fast forwarding with it through Julia, why I think I never had seen that part, and I just as being an older kid, and I don't think in episode 9 you can really fast forward through parts like that.
There's so many of them.
There's so much where it's just
Well, it's like,
so creepy.
well, how about at the end too? Like Ray melts the Emperor's
face off.
like off.
That's like
And I
graphic.
understand, like, yeah, but like,
That's
I
like
don't know.
Indiana
I
Jones
guess,
shit.
well, right.
Yeah.
I guess that's the old man in me because I want my kid to come see it in me.
Right.
Like, father and daughter, like, let's go see Star Wars. But honestly, I don't know if I can. I don't know in having to explain that to her. You know, Julia, there's some really scary parts. You got to watch it at home with me when it comes out.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to. I'm not taking her to the theater. I can't. It's going to
It's
break
too
her heart.
scary.
She's going to cry. But
I think
She'll
you'll
get it some
you'll
other
do
day.
less damage showing that to her when, even if it's at a more appropriate age or at home or something in a more
And
controlled
she-
environment.
And then she can, when she's older, she can watch the parts that she can watch.
And then
Right.
when she's
it's
21,
21.
and she's texting her family group chat, realizing that she hasn't seen the entirety of The Empire Strikes Back, and she gets
Shit
shit on
on.
by everyone else, and then she realizes, oh, it was too scary for a 5-year-old to watch.
Right.
Right.
It's
Well, there's
just
a big gap between 5 and 21. You could have watched it.
I didn't even realize.
It's just you can't. It's hard because, Star Wars is. I'm bringing it back to the family, and
Yeah.
I think this movie, The Emperor, made it really, really dark.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was rated.
PG-13, I think.
Man,
'Cause
That's
there's
rough.
there's no heavy violence, or there's no.
and maybe
but
it
it's-
is. Maybe
but
maybe
it is
Storman's right.
creepy.
Like it's the times that we're living in,
Yeah.
and people are just accepting of shit.
Yeah.
creepy.
Saw.
Yeah, but
but-
Saw's
Yeah,
rated
but you're
R.
not
Yeah, but
gonna-
those were rated R.
Well, the creepy movies.
Well,
Just
yeah.
because it's more socially acceptable doesn't mean that it's good for your children to be exposed to it that young of an age.
You go to some of those R-rated crazy movies, and you see kids coming out with their parents. They watch them all the time. So
Yeah.
I'm not discounting what you're saying. I'm just saying I can see your point only because you guys are so involved in Star Wars in general. That's a big part of your relationships together, and it's a neat piece, and it's hard for you to make that decision. But I do think, judging by a mistake I made years ago with the Grinch, don't do it.
Right.
Okay, final thoughts.
Wait a minute.
All right.
Oh boy. I know where this is going.
Are we going to talk about the kiss?
Which of the two?
Yeah, there's two of them.
Well, okay, we'll get the
How about they're both forced?
Okay, so
Yeah.
the lesbian kiss, I think that was dumb. If you're going to have a lesbian kiss in the movie, make it with characters that we actually care about, so it's not forced agenda in the Star Wars movie.
I think that
And I
is-
think we all agree on that point. It was stupid. Even coming from someone who 100% agrees where the LGBT rights needs to be more normalized, don't force it into a movie with characters that we don't care about and making it the center of the screen. Make it with characters we care about. Making it the kiss makes sense so that actually is normalized, not just a random kiss thrown in there.
Yeah, I think that pretty well summarizes my thoughts precisely.
All I'm gonna say is, if you look back at A New Hope, when they blow up the first Death Star and Luke lands and everybody's jumping,
I don't think anybody kissed. They all
Princess
hug.
Leia kisses. Maybe it's just on the cheek, whatever. But in 1977, of course, that was different
risque
times.
enough. Yeah.
Risque, yeah.
Which I get it. You're
but-
excited you kissed, but like
Yeah, but I can understand the excitement and you see your wife and you're like, oh my God, we're gonna be okay kiss.
But it's
sure,
like,
but like it was. I think shoving it in your face is what
It's
where it
almost
doesn't
forced.
make sense.
it's almost like having a token minority character in an all-white
Amen,
cast.
Ariel.
It's almost it's like oh, we have here's our one minority, we did it, we have them in the cast.
Yeah.
It's like here's that one gay kiss that we have.
in the corner, the yay or
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
That
great.
minority.
Oh,
exactly.
Right.
New Star Wars is LGBT friendly. Like, no, it's not. You guys just had the token kiss in to say it is. If you really wanted to make it LGBTQ friendly, have two main characters or two side characters be gay.
That is a topic you and I can have on another episode, because I think the next trilogy will be that.
We'll have like a.
I think
if
it's
you really want
let's
to
say
normalize
in
it.
theory, I think the next, if they do Old Republic and it is the Revan story, I think Revan is going to be a woman, and she will be married to Bastila Shan.
It'll be a lesbian couple.
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's
And
fine.
well, no,
Totally
I'm not
fine.
saying no. But that's what Ari's trying to say is, if that's the way it is and that's the moment, and they're the characters for it, then yes. The other thing too
That
is,
I would be totally fine.
but
with.
I'm sorry,
Like,
I am not okay with Kylo and Rey kissing.
I'm
Like-
not either.
Like,
I'm not
why
either.
did you why couldn't they have just hugged and it
Like-
been okay? Like, I saved you, we did it.
I
The emotions are so high, like,
See-
let's hug it
see,
out.
I
But
get-
now, we got to make out.
So I
I
know, yeah, go ahead, Ari.
understand from you have this connection that's great, but from a female point of view, growing up, almost all of the Disney princesses had a love interest. You have these strong females, even Mulan growing up, and still at the end of the day, she has a love interest. It's love interest. You're a strong female hero that you look up to, and I know we're getting the feminist topic in here. You
Yeah,
have
but
the
go
strong,
for it.
and we have Rey, who's this pretty much one of the most powerful and diversely powerful characters in the sequel trilogies.
No, she's definitely. Well, I mean, you could argue Palpatine's not.
Well,
is
but
more,
okay,
but yeah, I agree.
No, but I'm saying she's good with hand-to-hand combat.
Yep.
She's a good flyer.
Well, she's
fighter.
she's
She's a
the
strong woman.
Yeah.
She's strong.
100%.
And it's just frustrating. At the end of the day, she still has to kiss the main character. It's just frustrating because
a hug could have sufficed.
yeah,
A hug would have been.
Yeah,
that's what I was
I'd
expecting.
like to explain.
And I was just right there going, why?
I cringed when I saw that.
I was like, why?
I was
even
like, don't make him.
I think of kids. When you're a little girl, you're not conscious of. I look up to these people. I want to be like them.
Yeah.
But I think of Julia watching these, and Julia will sit in her bikini and mermaid tail watching the Ariel the Mermaid and does the exact same fin flippers as Ariel's doing it. I want her to go and she loves Star Wars. I want her to go and watch these movies and see Rey as a strong, powerful female character that can do anything. She can fight hand to hand. She can use the life force.
Right.
She can fly, and I don't want at the end of the day to her have to also be like, oh, but she also has to kiss the boy. Oh, she also has to. Oh, she has this strong connection with a boy. That means she has to kiss him and like him. Because you can have those strong connections with other characters, especially characters of the opposite sex. It can be a male character that she has this strong connection to, and that she goes through these troubling. You've been through hell with this person, but it doesn't mean that you have to. It has to be romantically involved.
For example, her relationships with Poe and Finn
Yeah, I
are
love
exactly
that.
like that.
I would have liked to say. I thought that she was going to kiss Finn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay, if she was
He
gonna
really
kiss one
liked
of
her.
them,
He really likes her.
yeah. If
I-
she was
I
gonna
mean,
kiss
but
anyone,
But what about Rose?
yeah, Rose got straight up pushed aside.
Yeah, like
She
poor
got
Rose.
thrashed.
Like Rose and Finn were it.
Rose got double dumped.
Yeah, Rose
do you know-
and Finn were.
do you know-
They really were.
do you know why she got double dumped? It's because
I forget. Please explain.
the actress got bullied to a point on social media after I think the eighth one is
Yes.
Yeah.
to a point where she had to delete all of her social media because people hated that character so much.
How could you hate her? She straight up tased Finn
Yeah,
because
no,
he
she
was running away.
She
That was
Yeah.
to
awesome.
a point where
That's it
she
too.
didn't. She almost broke her contract. She didn't want to be into the third movie. It was bad.
Oh,
It was
wow.
bad. Yeah, and instead of making that character writing character for that or better for that character and building her up and things like that, they just kind of brushed her off into the last one.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the actor got bullied to the point where she's not on social media anymore. She deleted all of her Instagram, anything like that is like bad, like death threats and things like that. It's crazy.
Insane. People
Yeah.
are nuts.
What was I going to say? Oh, can I just chime in on this kiss thing? So, yeah, my point was that I wanted to make was so for me, my overall feelings is that I did not like the kiss. However, I can sympathize with a portion of the emotions of that moment. So Rey and Ben, I should say, have been through like so much together. They've been linked, like trying to get each other to come to their own, respective sides of the argument. They've got. Hold on, I don't mean that this doesn't need to be romantic.
No. We're not making those faces at you. It's Marcus and I have been kicking each other the entire podcast.
Under the table.
We're gonna fucking kill each other.
So Rey and Ben have been through a shit ton of stuff together. And then, especially in this movie, they're fighting each other. They do a lot to fight against Palpatine, and they finally, each of them die. Ben dies twice essentially. Rey dies once. They bring each other back, and then finally they've won, and they're both seemingly alive. So they embrace. You know what I mean? We finally did it, and I can understand that they like. That big emotional adrenaline dump is finally done, and you just you kiss each other. I can understand that to an extent, but because of the overarching things that you're talking about, that moment becomes really cringy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it just for me it took the power away from Rey.
Ro? I get you.
I just said Ro. I was mixing up Poe and Rey. It was a momism.
I know what
I
you
just
meant.
think it just was like. And here it is, end of the movie. Female main character kisses male main character, and
yeah.
See, I don't know. I would have to kind of watch it again because my original interpretation of that was yours, Nick, where it was just this emotional thing, just like
emotional climax.
We
almost?
did it, and it was a kiss and boom, and that was it.
No one can hear you.
And a kiss, and that was it. You know what I mean? Just I don't know. But, not thinking through what Ariel is saying, because she makes a great point, too. And I agree with that. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd have to kind of watch it
Yeah,
again.
well, it's also, you don't, I am going to really play the feminist card here. You guys don't watch the movies through the same lens as a lot of females do.
Yeah, of course.
You don't.
We're from Venus.
No,
or is it Mars?
you're from Jupiter to get more stupider.
It was.
Damn.
Well, no, it's just.
Bada boom.
But the truth of it is, it doesn't matter. It was pointless.
Yeah, if they just hugged,
I don't care how much.
If they hugged, you wouldn't have to interpret it, right?
Well,
Yeah.
no, if they just hugged it, that would have been my normal reaction.
Yeah.
That's
if
a normal
Ariel and I were
reaction. Oh my
sitting-
god, we went through so much shit. Come here.
come here, just hug
it out.
Oh my god.
Well, I
or
think
just like Poe and Finn and Rey, they hugged, and that was honestly more
Yeah.
like I felt it here
In your-
more at that moment than I did with
Rey and Kylo.
Raylo, the
Well,
Raylo kiss.
Because
Right.
I think of
Raylo.
I think of like me and one of my best friends, Nick Shelley.
Yeah.
Him and I have been through hell and back.
Sure.
With everything that he's been through, and there's never been a point where I'm like, we've been through so much. I'm gonna kiss you. It's like, no, we've been through a lot. I'm gonna just
different. I think that's different. You guys have been through a lot, but I'm saying like at that moment they're laying together, and she brought him back to life and all that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying.
I also get it, Ari. I get what you're saying.
I'm
Yeah.
not trying. Yeah,
There's just there's a lot there in the scene.
In that
yeah.
moment.
But I don't think the kiss was needed.
But I agree. I'm not saying that. I get it, but I think they could have avoided any controversy or whatever by just doing this big huge hug and oh my
even
God, and then he dies.
I thought was more impactful than the kiss, like emotionally in terms of cinema. Like I thought, this is me acting in this out. It's gonna be really stupid. But when Ben has this, like he's looking into Rey's eye, I think it's after they kiss. They pull away, and he might have like his hand on her cheek or something. He looks at her, and he has this smile that's like remorseful and sad. And like it almost read to me as like, I can't believe I waited so long to do that. But then, and then at his fate, like the actor Adam Driver does such an awesome job with this. His face changes and it read to me as like, you don't know what's about to happen. Like, I wish we had more time or something like that. And then he dies. So I thought just holding that, like if you hug, pull back,
And just
and held that gaze and then have that act out and happen, that would be way more impactful than if they ever than the actual kiss itself. It'd almost be better if they didn't, if they got really close and then just had like a really emotional moment looking into each other's eyes and then he dies. I think that would be better. And then if for the people who wanted the kiss and wanted the standard issue storybook ending, the fact that you're denied the kiss is like oh no, he died, and it brings more to his death. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Oh, that's a huge point.
Yeah.
Nick. That's an awesome point.
Because then you
That's
could,
a great point.
and then what people would be arguing after
Mic
that
drop.
is like, did they have a romantic interest?
Did
after
they
that?
or didn't they?
And I would respect that much more than having this
Or
argument.
could they, would
Right.
they, if he didn't
Didn't
die?
die?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And
Could-
I would
which
respect
would
that.
Yeah, and I could respect that more because now he's a changed person and blah blah blah. But
But he had to die.
he totally had to
yeah,
die.
yeah.
Because imagine
100%.
him going back to the Resistance. Hey guys,
Hey,
I'm
guys.
Ben Solo.
Oh hey, I slaughtered all your friends, but
We killed the Republic with the
It's
Star
like-
Killer base.
It's like Anakin coming
hey,
back.
check this
Be,
out. My
Well, that's
lightsaber
why
isn't red
Anakin had to
anymore.
die.
yeah,
That's why Anakin had to
I was
die.
gonna say that's like Anakin coming back and be like, "Hey, you remember when I killed all those kids?"
right.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll have those crazy years in our times in our 20s, right?
Okay, I've been waiting all night to talk about this, and this is my final thought.
Okay.
My favorite characters, I don't know, it's not a surprise to anybody, is R2-D2.
Yeah.
The movie started with R2-D2 with Princess Leia taking the plans, and he has been the main character that has taken us through the whole movie. And in this movie, he didn't leave Leia's side. His part as the droid that does everything was not there.
Yeah.
But the fact that he was with Leia from start to finish of the movie just shows the completion of his story arc.
Yeah.
And watching her fade to the Force or become one with the Force, and him having that reaction, made me feel like, okay, he did his job, and his job is finally done, and, ride off into the sunset.
Right.
The same, I'm really happy that Anthony Daniels, C-3PO, got his moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that in the car.
I really hope somehow, some way he gets some kind of
Award or
award,
something.
because that guy's been there from the beginning to the end, and he's always been there, but never
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 fully
like
fleshed
that
out character.
needed component. And I just listened to the C-3PO book,
Mhm.
and I didn't realize how much J.J. Abrams loves him, Anthony Daniels, and the
Yeah.
character. And it really shows how much, he finally got his moment.
Right.
You
I
know,
agree. I loved all of C3.
What
I
are
think
you?
this is
What are you doing, C-3PO?
just
Taking one last look, and I was teared.
Oh, yeah.
I was
I
done.
do.
That part, I was like, no.
Oh.
That
It's like-
part almost like made me more emotional than like any other part in the
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
And then
Me too.
I
And
also
then-
I loved the character that the little guy that was.
Bebo or Bobo.
It was so funny. He was like, "Oh yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. I got it."
And then
It's like a little drunk dude.
And then he
basically.
says hello to R2-D2 later. He's like, "Hello, I am C-3PO." And R2's like, "No, this is not happening."
That was great. He was
And
like,
he's like,
"What
"Oh,
do you
I'm
mean?"
gonna go do this." No, you idiot. We've already done that. Oh,
Right.
who knows when the last iCloud backup was?
Right. Exactly.
2016. Anyway,
Right.
I was thinking about the kisses. You know, what would have been a really funny kiss to add in a little LGBTQ moment
What?
if Poe grabbed Finn
And kissed him?
and kissed him. That
That
would
would've
have
been funny.
That would have been funny, and and then they could have had their clickbait headlines.
It would have
of-
been funny if it was an accidental kiss.
or even just Poe grabbing him and Finn's like, "What the?" And it's like, "Yeah, buddy, we made it." Poe's like, and like hyper, whatever. And I think that would. Was just thinking that would have just been funny, and then they could have their clickbait headlines of LGBTQ kiss in Star Wars, and then blah, 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 blah.
I really liked this movie.
I did too. I
did
really
too.
enjoyed it.
And it was okay. When it ended, I had to sit there for a minute and stare at the screen thinking to myself, I'm never going to see this again. As,
For the first time.
Like, no. Like, for these people that have been involved in my life forever. It's like when you finally meet somebody that you're like, oh my God, I listen to your show every day.
Right.
Or like you feel like you know these people. And I feel like I know these people from 42 years of them doing this same type of movie.
Right.
And it was a nice closure. And we watched all the credits. And I didn't realize it until the second showing. All the end credits is every Star Wars song that John Williams, or like any of all the big Star Wars songs that John Williams composed, was at the end. He played the full Imperial March in the credits.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
I liked the ending too until you guys made me sit in a theater for an extra 5 minutes because there's a special thing right at the end, and it was bullshit. There wasn't crap.
There's the bad robot.
I
logo,
couldn't
that's
get
it.
up. I couldn't. I was just like, wow.
I know you wanted to sit there.
Yeah,
there
was no way. I wasn't rushing, and I was getting up. We were going to see it again at 10:50 at night. So
It didn't matter. Yeah.
But through it all, it was good. On to the next. On to Cincinnati.
This is just a really small thing that I thought of, and only really Dad's going to get it. But when the Sith ships...
Yeah.
What were they called?
The
Star Destroyers?
Star Destroyers were all lined up. Tell me that did not look like the frickin' Daleks from Doctor Who
Oh
lining
my God.
up.
Yes.
I was watching that, and that made me more... Yeah, see, way over.
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, but that was another moment where I was like, oh,
Oh, we
Doctor.
didn't talk
shit.
about that.
Exterminate.
exterminate. I just thought it was really cool, and I was like, holy shit, this looks like Doctor Who. And Doctor Who is one of my absolute favorite fantasy shows of all time.
Right.
So
And I grew up with the original Doctor Who.
Dad and I are going to start our own Doctor Who podcast.
You should.
Yeah, you should. We have the equipment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for having me,
I
you
know.
guys. I really appreciate sitting in on this. I've been hearing and seeing this podcast go on for quite a while, but to be actually sitting on it was pretty cool.
I
2
know.
fucking years.
2 years.
2 years.
2-year
Years.
anniversary this
Congratulations.
episode.
Congratulations, guys. Thanks for inviting me back, even though I
Buttheads.
sometimes have controversial opinions
That's
on
all
certain
right.
things.
No, controversial is
welcome it.
good. No, controversial is good. Conversation is good. Skywalker saga over.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.